YouTube. So this will just take a minute, everybody. YouTube. So I'm going to put the donation link on the chat here. Everybody. And I'll pin it. Okay, so Janine, your donation link is on the chat of YouTube, so it's pinned.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brad. And how's my volume?
You're perfect. Everything's good. Everything's good on your end. So yeah, just give us a minute here, guys. We're just doing some last minute setting up here. I think everything's good to go. All right. Yes, we're good. So let me just go ahead and put that share screen back on. And welcome everybody from YouTube land. Hello. Good to see you all here today. Again, I have a special guest. We have Janine here with us for a third time. It's going to be wonderful. And before we get into the interview today, I just want to share Janine's website, her brand new, really nice looking website here. So again, the website is tarotbyjanine.com. Okay. So as you see here, join Janine to get all the news, be part of her membership and access all of her content now. And I think it's like $4.99 to sign up, right?
USD, yeah.
USD, that's great. It's a great price. And of course, you have a course. You have a new online course. Do you want to talk about that course? What's that course about, Janine?
Sure. So that's a whole different thing. That's on Jean-Claude's Beyond Mystic Academy.
Okay.
So we just added it to the website so people could access it through there. But that's a whole different website that's on. But that's pretty inclusive. Like it's your first level. We discuss each and every major arcana and just with my style of how I see them. So I'm a lot different. I'm a different teacher than a lot of teachers. Less details and more about the energy and archetypal energies of the card.
So if they just go to tarotbyjanine.com, they'll see the link to the online course. Okay, great. Well, that's exciting. So you're teaching the tarot. Is it quite a lengthy course? Is it quite long, quite big?
The first part is, I think there's 8 or 9 videos. So it's all on video. Okay. And with 3 major arcanas each. And then there's an introduction. And also I'm teaching a very short little layout just for major arcana. And then we all go on to doing all of the minor arcana and the court cards. So that'll be a much longer session, right? So the first one's a little shorter than a much longer one in the middle. Then I'll do a third session, which will be layouts, a couple of really, really intense ones, like that big zodiac layout I do.
Yes, that beautiful zodiac you do. Mm-hmm. So again, you guys can go to tarotbyjanine.com. Again, you can sign up through her membership and you can also check out her online course that's linked to tarotbyjanine.com. So that looks very exciting. Well, again, thank you so much, Janine, for being here today. Like I said, when I heard that your YouTube videos or YouTube channels were being shut down, I thought, it'd be good just to have you on once again and just for the community to lend you a helping hand. Okay, so everybody here that's on Zoom, you'll find the donation link for Janine on the chat. Okay, so if you guys want to click on that and send a donation to Janine, that's always appreciated. Same thing with everybody on YouTube right now. All right, so everybody on YouTube, you guys will see the pinned message there for Janine's donation link. Okay, and of course I have my wonderful moderator, Supercalifragilistic, working together with posting that up as well too. So that's great. So again, just lending a fellow community member like Janine a helping hand. So anyways, Janine, why don't we go ahead now and we'll get into some questions. I know the audience is ready to bust the door down to ask you some questions here. So let me just go through the questions here. So again, guys, please no personal questions. Okay, just make sure your questions are semi-personal or general in nature. Okay, so here's one from Rebecca B-U-B-E 11. Okay, you guys with your names, come on. Rebecca B-U-B-E 11 says emergency broadcast system announcement. Is something happening with that? Yeah. Anything with EBS? I'm gonna get my glasses on, make sure I pronounce people's names right, because I could probably get censored for that.
Oh my goodness, look at that. So we've got an ace, so that's a big yes, and it's a hot yes. So in other words, imminent. And temperance. So we've been waiting for a really long time, and it also, this is a universal timing card. So the universe says, whatever that means, it's imminent. So yeah, that's something coming hot and heavy. And we could expect it, I would say, real soon. This is in the past with the, it's been kept a secret for a really long time, but it's also about secrets. So the EBS is going to reveal a bunch of secrets that have been held, from humans for a long time. Now, of course, people watching channels like this, they've been getting schooled. Right? So you got a head start, but there's a lot of people out there going to be very disappointed in the world and have a really hard time. And a lot of them aren't even paying attention. So they're so busy crying over what's not happening in their life or whatever. They're not seeing, all of the things we're seeing. So that's going to be it's going to be a really tough time when that goes off, when people find out what's been going on. These are 2 5s, but they're minor arcana. So it will pass and we will rebuild after that. And these are not major arcana. So whatever's going on, it might look a lot worse than it actually is out there in the world when the EBS first starts.
Well, there you go. I hope that answers your question. We have another question here from Catherine McNichol. She says, is Elon Musk related to Tesla? Quite an interesting question there.
Well, isn't that interesting? These feel like they don't want you to know. Mm-hmm. So that's a hidden secret card. There's something hidden there. And this is a 10 and a 9. So a 9 and a 10, there's a wish by the universe that, or somehow it's to your better advantage to not know the answer to that. So that needs to be kept. Let's just keep it the way it is, that card says. Let's just keep everything nice. So maybe that'll keep them safe to not say yes or no to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually there's something that needs to play itself out. Maybe when the time comes, when there's an openness, something like that can be revealed. So let's take a look here at Arjet. Arjet has a question here. Hi, Brad and Janine. Can you see what's going to happen to the farmers in the Netherlands? Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a lot of talk right now about the farmers standing up to the government, so that's good. Not to mention what's happening in Sri Lanka as well, too. It's quite nuts.
So the farmers are being watched over by the galactic helpers. Okay, so the wise old souls that might even be our future selves, they're being watched over. See that 2 of Cups there? And I also think some of the shenanigans going on might have even been created by in the higher up sort of filtering down to what the farmers are doing. This was happening with the truckers as well in Canada. I feel like there's some planted off-worlder or galactic helpers or evolved souls sort of instigating some of what's going on, if that makes any sense. And I'm not saying they didn't come up with it themselves. They did. There's a grassroots to it, but they're being guided.
The Freedom Convoy in Canada as well too. So these are, again, just new innovations coming throughout different countries around the globe.
And a lot of it is to get the word out. So to loudly out what these various different fraudulent, I want to say, governments are doing. They're going to out them. So the whole thing, I feel like, might be part of the movie.
I feel that too. Yeah, I was looking at it as well too. So I was getting the same kind of feeling. Here's one from anonymous attendee. Hi, Brad and Janine. What is the future of Israel since Biden visited there a day ago?
Okay, so that person that's appearing to be Biden, because that's a hidden cloaked card. So whoever that was likely wearing a mask or a disguise. And then this card here, and didn't go anywhere near that place. So there was no actual foot on the ground. So whatever footage you saw was likely filmed or falsified somehow, or CGI. Okay, so there's no going to the places he goes to where he says he goes to. It's all false.
It's all
Okay.
Hollywood, all Hollywood stuff.
It's all Hollywood. Yeah. So some kind of news is going to come out. So that visual, they're going to utilize it. They're going to utilize it to help take down the mainstream media. So I don't know exactly why I'm saying that, because sometimes the cards can be funny that way. But for some reason, that's an optic they're going to point to when they take down the mainstream media.
Well, there you go. Here's one from Carrie. Carrie says, Janine, when do you see silver going vertical, please? Thank you.
So we got 2 8s on the bottom here and all kinds of manipulation cards. So this is my good guy, sort of Mr. T in the white hats kind of card. And then we've got this, so it's their intention. So it's the white hats intention that the repression of it ends, because that's a slowly but surely they've been working towards that ending. Okay, and we know that's been held up. Okay, I believe it's been held up anyway. And then we've got 2 8s. So I'd say, so they're working on it. I'd say there's an 8 around it. So days or weeks. 8.
Like a spike with the silver. Very, very soon.
Yeah. Let's hope that's hours.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about silver, cryptocurrency as well too, right? Seeing if there's a big spike in the market. But like I said, what really helps you guys is really just putting your intentions in, right? Put your intention in for where you want your finances to go. Believe in it with all of your heart. And you're going to see, regardless of the state of the markets, if you basically are the vibration of fortune, it is going to come to you. So here's one from Rebecca. Will the USA be going into the quantum financial system by the end of 2022?
I'd say it might have already. So that's, and I don't know, like the wording they're using there, like there's a new system. I don't know if it's exactly called that, right? Because there's a lot of dispute about what it's called. And some people are misusing the words. Some people are assuming that's the bad system. So I'm talking about there's a good system already in place. They're waiting on when to bring that to everybody's attention. So I feel like that's already been in place. Yeah. So now we've got, yeah, it'll be give everybody a lot more sovereignty. Brad could probably say that better than me. Some words I just have trouble with, but it'll give you a lot more personal hands-on to your abundance, let's say. Okay, and that's the whole.
Like around the late 2022, early 2023, like 2023 to me represents the year of reset. So we're really going to see some things coming together like that, like what you're saying.
So it'll come out. Yeah. It'll come out when they feel like it's right, but it's already in place, is what I get.
It is. Yeah, everything's pretty much all ready to go. It's just a matter of flicking the switch. So here's one from Galaxy S9. Hi to both of you. Is the remunerated value for Zim, Dong, etc. True paying out dollar for? I don't know what this question is even saying. So, Zim Dong. I'm not sure. Do you know what that is, Janine?
Yeah. So they're talking about Vietnamese Dong and the Zim RV reset.
Okay, I don't look into that stuff, so it's foreign language to me.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk that that's a big CIA hoax, right? But let's see. Okay, so that's one thing people are saying, but I got a feeling they're saying it because they don't want you to. Yeah, so it does look like they've been really trying hard to take that off the agenda, they being the bad guys. So that's been something they've been trying really hard to they don't want abundance in just everybody or anybody's hands, right? They just want to keep it all to themselves. So that's been something that's been wrestled over and fought over and held up. And it would absolutely, so it would reset these currencies in third world countries to one-on-one with sort of what we now view as the American dollar, but we know that that's actually might crash. So there's that, right? Remember that. Okay, but it feels like it's hand in hand with that whole situation with the reset of what you called or somebody called the quantum financial system. Okay, so I don't call it that. I would call it a gold-backed system or a metals-backed system is in place in the back channels. And when they feel like it's a good time, they'll bring it out. So there's going to be a softer landing for people because of that, but it doesn't save us. We still got work to do. I feel like that it's hand in hand with that. So it's real, but I feel like it's been maybe represented in some platforms.
Okay, that's good. So there's just the information here with Zoom here, guys. So I think chat is disabled here. Just a little chat window here is disabled. So maybe you guys can't see Janine's donation link. So what I'd like you to do is just go to my YouTube channel because this is broadcasting live on my YouTube channel. Just click on that video. You'll see in the chat, in the live chat on YouTube, you'll see the pin there for donation, for Janine's donation link. So just go there and you can click on that link and you can send Janine a donation, okay? So thank you guys for letting me know that. I wasn't aware that the chat here on Zoom is disabled. That's weird. Maybe they do that because we're streaming YouTube live. Let's go to anonymous attendee here. Is the rumor true that the Supreme Court of the United States has met in secrecy and ruled the 2020 election as fraudulent?
I'm getting a yes. So there's a soft yes to it here. And when I say a soft yes, so pages, it means there's more to it than that. So there's a lot more to it, but the gist of what they're saying is absolutely true, it looks like. It ruled in the favor of what humans wanted in the US there, what the general population wanted, it ruled in the favor of. So in other words, it probably likely undid what appeared to be Mr. B's regime coming in. I mean, it probably undid that. Yes, I would say yes. Then I got a yes on the bottom, but it's, again, not quite time to officially be announcing that. That'll come. They're holding on to that one.
Great. There you go. Here's one from Carrion. Will the South African politics become more volatile, or will an unknown leader step forward?
Okay, there's a leadership secretly in place there that, again, they're being careful about exposing. So that I think you're being, South Africa, you're being shadow governed. And I know it's been really hard because that card says you've had a really hard go of it, but things are going to get a lot better fast with that card. Good things are coming. So I think the shadow government's going to step out because it's one that's for the people. So you're being governed by, I think a lot of things going on there could be theater that you're seeing that have been really, I know it's hard, but I feel like this is the way they needed to do it. So there's a secret government in place that's a good one for the people. And that's, you're gonna see them soon with that card.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of questions about South Africa, specifically from what I've been getting. I have a lot of South Africans on my channel. So thank you, Karen, for that. Let me just find some other ones here. I'm not going to try and go with some of these questions, guys. Remember, YouTube has censorship. We don't want to go too far. Let's see here. Okay, here's one from Claudia. Were the Matrix movies documentaries? White hat ops from the beginning. Has Keanu Reeves been a white hat actor since the beginning? or turned white hat. He seems to be one.
Okay, I'll kind of do those separate. I'll start with the movie because they may be separate. Keanu Reeves isn't going to be the same as the movie itself. Okay, so we'll look at the movie first.
Okay.
That was the bad guys first. So the bad guys were signaling in that movie. It was one of those ways they like to signal, but then it was taken over at some point. So at some point, it turned into the signaling of the good guys. So that at some point they took over, I think, productions like that.
Great. Well, we're definitely seeing a change of guard right now, a change of theme taking place. Okay, here's one from Lena Mars. Who brought down the Bulgarian government? It was recently elected and was brought down. Who is behind this, the East or the West?
Okay, that's our good guy. So we got the galactic warriors here. So that's our good guy army, the ones with integrity, and they had everything to do with bringing down what's currently the government. I feel like, again, a lot of hidden things there. I don't think that government was really in place. I think everything you were seeing was to show something. It was like showing maybe how these people get into power in a way that maybe is shenanigan. Let's just say it like that. So I think that was a way to show people something, and they were never really there to begin with, we'll say.
Great, excellent. All right, so this one here is from Sylvie. I hear that our national airline, AC, is involved with World Economic Forum. What is the future of Air Canada?
Okay, that looks like they were outing Air Canada. So I feel like that was an optic and part of the movie as well. It's not to say they were already compromised as an airline for a really long time. Now whoever the higher ups are facing some kind of judgment. I feel like it'll come out when they're ready that all of what so they're just trying to show you what's been going on in the background by making that public, as if they'd ever admit they were part of the World Economic Forum. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was a big optic by white hats to go, this is what happens when you don't pay attention and you let big, huge corporations, mostly government, deep state government owned, operate things. You know what I mean? Like this, we have to change everything, including how we do airlines and stuff. Everything has to change. So they were just outing them.
A lot of the stuff we even hear on mainstream media never really comes to pass anyways. They basically say, they show a dog with bark but no bite, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these things that they claim to do, and then we see it get foiled shortly before the time or the deadline that those things are supposed to come together. So it wouldn't surprise me if Air Canada basically plummets. And that way, either they go through some other type of overhaul where they're being completely renewed, or they shut down completely. So,
they have signed deals. Yeah. So that's backdoor deals with the good guys. So yeah, they're going to completely change over. And they're doing this for optics. They've been arm twisted to do it.
So Janine, what have you seen for this summer? What does this summer represent? Like, have you done readings in regards to like July and August?
I think it all happens this summer going into fall, like as far as finally we see some form of an EBS or at least an outing. I think big moves have been made. I feel like it's a hot summer. So finally we get to see a big turnaround. How are you feeling, Brad, about it?
You took the words right out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I've said too. I've called it a white hot summer. So we're seeing a white hot summer. We're going to see a lot of takedowns. we're going to see a lot of courageous aggression taking place, and just a lot of the counter forces continuing to work around and just taking down a lot of these old systems as well too. So we're going to see a lot of shifts, a lot of big changes moving into the momentum of September. So coming into September, we're going to see a lot of things. The latter half of this year is actually going to be a lot more positive than negative. So like I said, guys, don't believe everything you hear on mainstream media, of course, right? Even some of the alternative websites get a little bit too much on the surface about these things and are not digging deep. So again, this is showing that there's a lot of positive momentum ahead. It is a hot summer, a white hot summer. There's going to be some significant change, just like what we're seeing here with Air Canada. So very good. Yeah, like I said, just almost like completely in sync with what I've said. That's why I like you, Janine. We get this.
Yeah, I know. Every time I listen in on what you're up to, it's like, yeah, what he said.
Getting the same thing. Exactly. That's it. Right. So here's another one from anonymous attendee. Love it when Brad and Janine combine forces. You're like superheroes. I'd love to see Brad take part in a session with Jean-Claude, Julie, and Janine. Well, we'll see. My question is, what are the White Hat's plans for Africa? We hear very little about the changes to happen on the continent. Thank you very much. Sending lots of love and light. Okay, thank you, anonymous attendee.
So the White Hats, how do you want to phrase that again?
Just like, I guess, what's happening on the Africa continent? Are we basically, I would say mainly, are we seeing the cabal being completely dissolved?
Okay, got it.
Altogether.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's all about, it's crumbling here, not built on a firm foundation. So many people have been already rounded up who have been involved in horrific things that have been going on, not just above, but below there. We know it was a huge hub for certain things that we can't speak about here, but the worst case scenario for 12 and unders, let's just say that. Yeah, so huge, and it's all been done under the cover and the guise of all the other distractions everybody's having to put up with. So a lot of distractions there. Meanwhile, really good things. In fact, what they're going to find there is Africa is one of the most abundant, not just for growing things and weather and everything, but so many abundant metals come out of there, like so much fruit out of that place, you know what I mean, in so many different ways, and the people's creative energy, and like the place is going to end up in the big picture completely the opposite of how the world would see it now, because the cabal kept it like some place that was less than, and that's just not the case. It's going to be the exact opposite of that. It's going to be one of the most abundant, rich places and best places to live. So there you go.
And of course, I've been to South Africa back in 2019. It is quite beautiful. There's so much ancient history there. Like I said, you're seeing fossils everywhere. You're seeing ancient ruins everywhere. There's so much ancient history going back hundreds of thousands of years. There's rumors, there's not just rumors, there's footprints of giants that are there as well too that I was seeing. It's a truly magical place to be. And so Africa has so much of our ancient heritage. So yeah, like I said, there's been hundreds, even thousands of years of karmic debris upon Africa. So we're now going to start seeing a lot of that stuff play out, and a clean sweep is coming for Africa, most definitely. So here's one here from Andrea Kott. What's the role of the former Yugoslavia in this whole process? Many thanks, from Germany.
So my dad's mom came from there. Let's have a look. Okay, so it's so steeped in mystery, that place, hey? There's a lot of magic and mystery there. And this is a really unique, so they're going to keep their really unique, or get back to the really unique magic and mystery that they bring to the whole world. This card is about defending your honor in a way. So the word behind this card is valor. Okay, sort of an old-fashioned word, but defending something you know to be correct, or that's your truth or whatever. Okay, and their truth is so there's a huge mystery there that's been they tried to repress it. They tried to take the people right off the earth plane because there's a huge mystery there. It has something to do with bloodlines. So the bad guys, dark hats, they so wanted to wipe that place right off the earth plane. So it's not really answering the question, but it is saying that all of this is going to become known to the public, and how all the secrets that place holds, and the secret bloodline that comes out of there. There's a really big secret being held there. And it's not time to know exactly that yet, but they're working on allowing that all to come out. So that'll take time.
Yeah, that pretty much shows the role with Yugoslavia. So that's good. Here's one from Susie. Susie says, will the Canadian pension plan disappear in an old age pension? Are we going to see those things fade away?
Okay, it's going to be replaced by something much better. So I wouldn't say it gets taken away, it gets replaced and corrected. There's some kind of correction with these cards. These are all really good. That's a gateway. This is things work out better than you expected. So more available, more abundance available, moving out of troubled water. As things move out of the kind of matrix that we're seeing right now, as we actually discover what's really going on under this curtain, the curtains lifting, that sort of thing, we're going to see a big change. It was in really bad disarray and ready to collapse. This is the past. So the way it was being handled by the past, what we thought was our government, would have put it in jeopardy, but there's been a correction made somewhere along the line that replaces it with something better. So you could technically say, yeah, it's going by the wayside, but it'll be something better's coming, and you don't get less, you get more. So it's going to be just a correction made to that.
Yeah, better systems on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one from Chad. Chad says, how soon will the dismantling and restructuring of the U.S. Judicial branch happen, and what will it look like?
I wonder if it's already been dismantled. I feel like it's already, that's already happened somehow. It's been taken down here. Isn't that interesting? And then slowly and carefully, with a lot of input from everybody's vision and desire, going to be rebuilt and restructured. So I think that already happened. And I get that the US is under some kind of military
jurisdiction
background. Yeah, like so I'm thinking White Hats Alliance, but that's who's running the place.
But this is it, guys. Like I said, we see these things on TV or something like that, and we think that this is happening. And then if Janine and I look at this stuff and say, sorry guys, that's not what's happening. There's a lot more stuff going on here. That's really leaving that old story off in the dust. So like I said, guys, we have to start looking at these things with our hearts, and you're going to find the answers. You're not going to find it on your TV sets. So let's take a look a bit more here. Here's some anonymous attendees. Are good guys in control of Nigeria? There are impending elections in the country. Thank you.
So the first thing that came to my mind when I just touched the cards on that question, as it just popped in my head, was theater again. So the shenanigans that you're calling like that contest. I don't want to say the word too many times.
Yes.
It's an algorithm catcher, but that's a shenanigans. Okay, they're trying to show you how these things get shenaniganed. Exactly. Okay, so yeah, so who's in charge? Good guy army again, and there's a whole lot of people being brought to justice in the background there. So that would be my sort of yeah, that's what that is. So that feels like there's a whole lot of people being rounded up and brought to justice there right now in the background. So people even that you think are up for re-elections, etc., could actually be scooted away. And the real people in charge, again, are who I think's in charge in a lot of countries in the world, shadowed, governed by white hats alliance.
Great. Here's another one from anonymous attendee. What is happening in Australia, especially South Australia? Energy is very heavy, compliance, etc. Is the new premier a good guy?
I'll start with the new premier. We'll look at that guy. I forgot to ask about Keanu Reeves too. So somebody might, they really seem to want to know. We might do that one
We
next.
can look into that one afterwards.
Yeah. So this is the person that they were asking about, the new premier. So I feel like they're being, whoever they are, whether they're good or bad, they're being handled by the good guys. So there's a handling going on. And it's not like they were entirely bad, but they are being arm twisted to be handled. So it's not like they like it that they're being, so they're not, they didn't volunteer to be handled, but they're being handled. So they're being, so see this is like from afar, somebody's pulling the strings. Okay, and they don't like it because that part says they're fighting against it to some degree, but at the same time doing the bidding, because I don't think they have a choice. They're going to get rounded up if they don't have a choice. Okay, so they were, before that though, they were being managed by the bad guys. So they had to give up some of their bad guy buddies to get handled by the good guys and not maybe face their justice as severely maybe as they would have otherwise. We'll say it like that.
A while back, I did the same reading on the Australian Prime Minister. I got the exact same thing. He's basically being handled.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like the way he's been treated because he was always kind of in the back pocket of the dark forces.
Yeah.
But he's basically, if you want to keep this position, if you want to stay out of jail, you want to stay out of getting a tribunal, you do as we say. And you're just going to be short term anyways, because we're going to replace you in the long run.
Yeah.
So this is your idea of redeeming yourself. Yeah. So very good. More similar information coming through. So let's look into Keanu Reeves now in regards to that question.
Okay, he's been on both sides of the fence, but he's come over to the good. But he's been on both sides. So he might have even been a bit strong-armed to come over to the good. Okay, so that's interesting, but this used to be his handler. So that's my deep state dark cult card.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if,
so
if you're pretty much in Hollywood, that's going to be your right?
Yep. And I feel like he was brought up in a family or placed in a family. So a lot of stress in his youth. Likely he didn't have a lot of choice to be in those kind of occult sort of family situation, led him into what he was, you know, how he was compromised in the first place. I'm not cutting him excuses for things he might have done, but I'm just saying it's a lot harder when you've been brought into it from a youth.
Right, exactly. Okay, so I hope that answers the person's question asking about the matrix. Okay, so some of these questions we want to try and keep them a little more practical. So here's one from Bear Builder. Any advice to all of us who have saved a bunch of cash, not silver or gold or crypto? Any advice in regards to the cash holders?
There'll be temporary setbacks for cash holders. So you'll temporarily feel disappointed or feel like you'll be disappointed in things because likely it'll go to a valueless situation. But then there's going to be an option to trade it in for something more valuable down the road. So it doesn't feel like you'll just have to go through the fear of losing everything, which I don't believe you will. None of this says you'll lose everything. It'll be rebirthed, so it's value, rebirthed in a whole different system and not too far from. So I don't think you'll be left in the dark for months, maybe weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm getting as well too with people who have money in the bank as well too, with any kind of bank, it's going to be transferable. to the brand new systems that are coming. So you don't have to worry about it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, if you have cash, then there may be some limitations to that because they're even going to start changing the notes pretty soon as well too. They may already have started to do that as well.
Yeah.
Changing a lot of the bank notes in that way. So that just becomes expired. So the best thing to do in that sense is maybe talk to your bank, or again, maybe look into alternative situations for finance. And here's one from Laura. Laura says, did Trump's first wife, Ivana, really leave the Earth plane?
Nope.
Nope.
She got moved somewhere for her own safety. That's the reason why. So for some reason, she was in some kind of unsafe situation and got moved. And by the bad guy players. So those that, yeah, the dark hats, she got moved somewhere. And she didn't really like that she had to get yanked out of her life that way. Like, I think she would be protected somehow now from now on. She didn't really like that. She would have preferred that wasn't her choice. She didn't
going into the hidden background.
Yeah,
so
they took her into hiding.
Hurt or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So here's a personal question from Sarah. Sarah asks, Janine, what version of the Rider-Waite tarot cards are you using?
Well, they're just the real classic Rider-Waite. I also have the, I think this is called the Universal Rider. So that's with that background. And I also have the Golden Rider.
The classic.
Yeah, I love the classics. Yeah.
Classics are good. That's the one I just did.
Yeah.
I've studied that one for quite a while. And that's I'm just used to all the metaphors. But I also have the Robin Hood deck.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's in my car. That's my travel tarot.
Okay.
I try to use these small ones, but they're just awful. I cannot handle these things at all.
Yeah, that's the cafe deck.
Yeah, I don't like them. They're not good.
Yeah.
All right, great. So let's move on to the next question here. This is from Lena. Lena says, is China really locked down or is it fake news? And while Jenny is looking into that, we're just going to, again, share the screen. So just a reminder, everybody, that again, you can go to Janine's website. Okay, so it's tarotbyjanine.com. So again, you can sign up for her membership. It's $5 US per month. And again, reminder that she has an online course. Again, the link is on tarotbyjanine.com as well. And again, if you guys are looking to submit a donation to Janine, make sure you're going to my YouTube channel, especially for those of you on Zoom. Just go to my YouTube channel. You'll see our live broadcast here, and you'll see the live chat window. You'll see a pinned comment there, and that is Janine's donation link. So you can feel free to leave a donation there for her. Okay, let's go ahead and continue.
Fake news. A lot of posturing, and most of it's been filmed off location. And I did see a video clip that I knew was true, where they literally were showing those people in the, what are those called? Those suits that they wear, that they're always showing out of China, like people wearing full suits or whatever.
Oh, hazmat suits.
Yeah. They were showing this whole video clip of a screaming supposed mother of, as you know, lost somebody from, you know, the dreaded thing that's supposedly happening. Okay, so it was all filmed, and they were all crisis actors. And then somebody backed up and showed them filming those people. Okay, it's all part of the movie. Big part of the movie here.
Great. Here's one from Kat. This is kind of more of an off-world question. What is our ET family here in the solar system to witness? So what is the role of a lot of our star family, our off-worlders? What are they here to do and here to witness throughout our star system?
Well, we're going to find out firsthand real soon. They're going to make themselves, okay, they're getting ready to actually come forward in a physically show themselves. They're waiting to do that. So there's a watching, waiting, and then physically they're going to manifest. So take the cloaks down or whatever.
Yeah, I've been getting that too.
Yeah.
In time, once the right moment comes, the stars align. It's a lot of that.
Kind of
Yeah,
a support thing. It's sort of like they're there for moral support, maybe.
yeah, they're here, they're behind the scenes support.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's basically that they are the true counter forces and that they are working behind the scenes to help out the people here that are helping to really shift things all together. So it's all just a coordinated web. This one here is from George. Will we be able to travel freely again next year? So as we go into 2023, will people be able to travel worldwide?
Well, there's a big sort of what'll appear to be kind of like a disastrous thing. I don't know, an event of some kind that could temporarily set all of that back for a very short time. And you'll feel really disappointed about it, whatever. And it'll appear to be the bad guys winning, when in fact, the outcome is like way, way more freedom, not just travel freedom, and even new ways to travel.
Yes, I was going to
advanced.
new opportunities of traveling, not just the idea of a COVID. This is what I was saying yesterday, actually. Not just are we seeing the end of COVID restrictions, we're going to see everything pertaining to restrictions in general are going to fall apart. And that would actually relate to the borders of countries as well, too. So there's going to be, again, we could also see like independent states coming together, countries becoming republics. There may also be the idea that Canada, the United States, and Mexico would be one country. There could also be the possibility that Canada, the United States, Mexico, and South America could be one country. So they're actually moving in that direction.
Yep.
So this is something that's even bigger and better. Yeah.
That's the plan for sure with that card.
So it's bigger than better than just looking at COVID restrictions falling apart. Here's one here from Heather. When will the medical establishment break down to the point that the nurses can utilize natural healing and new technologies for patients? Signed, an unvaccinated registered nurse. Very good. Thank you, Heather.
Oh, really soon. They're just doing some careful, calculated moves that are, but it's all about to speed up. So things are going to really speed up. So I don't think that'll be too long at all. So they'll be celebrating that, I'm going to say by early spring, maybe, where you're on the other side of all the crazy. And now you're rebuilding the systems with integrity. Not to say things won't shift a long time before that, but you're asking when does things start rebuilding? And now we're already working in our fields in a more integral way. That could start really showing up in spring.
Excellent. Here's one from Miriam. I would be interested in the spiritual role that Germany is going to play in the future. So the spiritual role pertaining to the country of Germany and however things are going to play out for them in the future ahead.
So they're really close to exposing who's really governing Germany. Germany's appears to be really cloaked in and really sleeping and really like in bad shape. Like, and I don't know because I'm not there, but I have been hearing that from different people who write to me. But it's looking like that very quickly turns into a victory. So they all of a sudden shows they've been actually, they capitulated really early on. And it's been a big movie there. That's a huge movie. And so they're way and beyond. Things have changed there under the surface, but it still appears a certain way, especially if you're looking in at it. Okay, so they've got a lot of protection and a lot of really old souled star seeds there and galactic helpers there. So they're going to lead the way, I think, in a way spiritually interesting in the world. Like I felt like Africa was going to lead the way in abundance, and there's a joyfulness, but this is more with Germany. The archetype going forward is more spiritual with depth and introspection. And yeah, there a lot of old souls might gravitate over there.
Thank you again for your question. Here's another one from anonymous attendee. Will the Canadian banks and credit unions do a bail-in and steal people's money? Everyone with life savings can't put all their savings into silver, etc., as you need money for day to day. Thank you, anonymous attendee, or AA.
The more independent or smaller sort of credit unions and or not like world banks, you're better off.
Yes.
Okay, you got a lot less problem with the more independent ones that are more localized. So keep local in your bank, or you could have some disruptions and potentials.
Yes.
It's not, I don't feel like it's worldwide spread, but there's going to be obviously some issues with some of the really big banks. So if you're in the biggest bank in the Canada or the biggest bank in the US, you might want to, switch it up. I got intuitive information just directly to myself from my higher self to change over to a much smaller sort of banking situation, about a year and a half ago. And I've never been happier. And I feel really good there whenever I look at things. Yeah. So there is compensation, even if you get shenaniganed, but it'll just take time.
Yes, exactly. See, the smaller banks have less people to answer to, and the bigger ones have a lot more people to answer to. So basically, it's in that sense. This is what I've told people in the past. This actually goes back years when I was channeling Adronis as well too, because people would ask him that question. So, what about these big banks? What do you recommend? So, well, always go for your local bank. Always go for your local credit unions, because there's less loops for you to jump through in that way. Yeah. So if you want to really utilize that for day-to-day banking, that would be your best bet, is go local. Okay, here's one from Nina. Nina says, I am from El Salvador. This country has been exploited and the people treated so badly. What can you see for the near future for El Salvador? Thank you very much.
So yeah, very stressful. This card's really stressful. And also they're getting a lot of some kind of information that's false, that's creating a lot of stress. So I don't know if they're threatening lockdowns again or what they're doing, like some places are, but a lot of these signs that look like they're going backwards and devolving and not evolving. Okay, I feel like they're false to wake people up. Okay, things are actually going to change very quickly for the better there. And one of their biggest sort of things in the future going forward, archetypal sort of, she would be like a healer. She could be like a good witch, a healer. So natural and naturopathy, healing and medicines, I feel like they got plenty of it. Also, they're going to be big with some kind of supplying really good water, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, Salvador, Mexico, and a lot of the different Central and South America.
Yeah. So they'll have a new role in the world, and they'll bring their gift. Like everybody's going to bring their various different gifts and be honored for them.
Great. That's good news. So here's one from Sarah. There was a large swath of people getting very sick recently in the UK, me included, most without having the poke. Was this the result of a biological attack? The timing of many being sick at the same time seemed beyond coincidence. Thank you, sir.
So yes to what she's thinking. So they got some kind of an attack of some kind of something got spread around in some community somehow. That's what that looks like. And we've got the Wheel of Fortune in the past. So that's interesting. So it was kind of like, had something to do with being at the wrong place at the wrong time. They were spreading this around, and it wasn't even, they didn't even target that community, but it was just kind of like they happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I feel like it's to out these guys again. So things will, like, I don't feel like they're in big danger. Like, I feel like things are getting way better there. And that whole episode was to out these guys. So I don't know how that works, but I'd have to know more details about where they were when it all happened.
Great. Okay, so there's another part about the UK from Lacey. Hi, Janine and Brad. Is the future of the UK government going to be okay, controlled by the White Hats? We've seen a lot of the shifting going around there. Like I call it the Rubik's Cube. We've seen a lot of the shifting in the Rubik's Cube throughout the UK. Is that going to be all right? Things going to be changing big for the better?
Yeah, I think we kind of answered that in that last one. But let's look at it again here. Yeah, so absolutely. Absolutely. I think the whole world's going better. See that world card?
Yep.
We're all going towards more abundance, experiencing more joy, and being more independent, and individuality is going to be protected, which is the exact opposite of what it looks like right now. So if your viewers might remember, I used to tell a story. I don't know if I told it on your channel, but I took this road trip where I saw these really scary signs on the road trip where things were just going to get worse and worse and worse on the roads. And at the very exact opposite thing happened. The roads got better and better. The weather got better and better. But the signs all through this mountainous road I was taking got worse and worse, and were more warning and warning. If I would have listened to the signs, I would have pulled over and stayed overnight in some small town in the mountains. But I just trusted that this was just showing me something. And I got all the way home. Things got better and better, literally, but the signs looked worse and worse. I think that's what we're going through, that dark night of the soul, where you're being they're just fear pumping it all out. And the crescendo is getting hard to deal with, but I feel like it's all exactly the opposite happening.
Great. Well, there you go. I'm feeling the same way as well. So like I said, guys, we're moving upwards. We're not moving downwards. There's big shifts coming. So let's see, we had some questions on Australia already. So we're just getting a couple of different questions, like, are they going to lock down things again? Are they going to lock down things? No, guys. We're pretty much seeing the end of pretty much all lockdowns altogether. We're seeing that snuff out altogether. So there's quite a few questions about that, about silver and gold, about lockdowns. These are becoming redundant questions, guys. So like I said, just tune into the beginning part of the broadcast because Janine covered quite a bit of that. Okay, so here's one from Caroline. What are the white hats or counterforces? The good ones, wealthy people unhappy with the attempt to control the world, genuine people working for the good of humanity. Well, basically, I refer to them as the counterforces. I don't really use the term white hat. This is from my perspective. I call them counterforces because for every force, there is a counterforce. So basically, when you're looking at a dark force, you have its counterforce opposite there. A lot of these are ex-Kabbalists in that way. And they basically were just sick and tired of the plan, and they decided to turncoat. And they had a lot of different countries join them. So you're basically looking at a very vast country alliance that's together right now and just working to take down the remainder of the dark forces themselves, because right now they're just skewed and they're spread out. Yeah. And basically it won't be too much of a longer wait.
And they needed those guys to know how these guys operate.
Yes.
So as you were talking, I got big yeses. Mm-hmm. What he said.
So it won't take too long before you see them all plummet.
Yeah.
Together. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here's another one from anonymous attendee. What is the outlook for Costa Rica in the near term, the next 6 months, regarding human freedom, lockdowns, restrictions? Okay, yeah, we'll look into that. There's another multi-is the government going to be the shadow government? No, guys, we're seeing shadow governments going away. We're not seeing them coming to power. Yeah.
So the government there is absolutely deep state, but they've all capitulated. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got another puppeted and shadowed governed place. Okay, so you don't get to see it just yet, but I'm thinking by late August, you already know that sometime in August you're going to know. Mm-hmm. Everyone will know that that's true. That's my 8th month when it comes to timing. So things are going to come out. Yeah, we're red hot here. Like we said, summer's red hot sometime this summer, which is, I don't know about you guys, but I know Brad's in British Columbia, Canada. I'm in Calgary, just a sort of a neighboring province if you're not from Canada.
Yours away.
I could drive there to where Brad is probably in 11 hours. Yes. So what I'm saying, what we say when we say summer, at least I say this, is like June, late June, July, and August. That's it. That's summer.
Yep.
Sometime this summer, this all flips on its, you know what, and it's none of this is going on. Like, it could get kind of yucky in the middle of that though, and it'll take time to rebuild. But
and this is where I say that time is going to be your teacher, right? So if you guys are constantly looking, when is this going to happen? Just let time play itself out, and you guys are going to see. It's kind of like what I was saying, because I was going back a few months. I was saying that in the times ahead, as we get close to the summer, you guys are going to start seeing government transition. We're going to see this transitional government. You guys are going to see certain leaders being taken down. You're going to see kind of like a political Rubik's Cube happen. No one was really believing me until this actually started to happen. I said, guys, I told you so. See, time has to be your teacher. So when you let time come together, everything that Janine and I are saying is like, if you don't really get what we're saying, well, don't worry, it's going to come, and you're going to see it firsthand altogether. So times are changing. Time's your teacher. So here's one from Charlotte. Charlotte says, could you look at what's going on in France currently? Thank you. If anything that's happening in regards to France, maybe in regards to how their government's doing, what's happening with them.
so we got another shadow governed place. This is a facade card. So what you're seeing is not what exactly it is, and who actually is running the place in the background is to the human's advantage, because that's the 9 of Cups. So you're going to wish for this, is what that says to me. So you got good guys in the background, but they've shadow governed with they got the guys in the front showing you what deep state government looks like. So they're outing themselves. They're showing their skirts. I feel like that's been going on for quite a while, right? Yeah. And they're really close to wrapping that up though, thank goodness. Like France looks like it'll be really, really a whole different ball game here, really independent. Lots of people are very independent thinking there, it feels like. There's going to be lots of wealth. The land's going to be worth a lot more somehow. And I don't know what it's worth now there, but it feels like it'll be a place that'll be really sought after. People are going to want to go raise their families there. It'll be a real family friendly place. Like, it's moving into a really good phase, but it's going to take time.
Yes. Gotta wait for the harvest.
Yeah, wait for the harvest. Exactly.
Okay, here's a question from Joe. There's a drought happening in the Southwest United States. Will this drought be reversed? And if so, how soon? Yeah, they're saying that about Texas as well too. There may be weather manipulation technology at work with Texas.
Yeah, within a year, Texas goes back to a real natural state in the next year. So it could be a lot sooner than a whole year away. So listen, when I say that, it doesn't take a whole year. Within the next year, it's really balanced itself out. But there's a lot of careful work to be done in the background. It's already being done in the background before I feel like some of those manipulations were put in place and they couldn't turn them around. So they have to play themselves out. That's the feeling I get. So anyway, they're working on it, and it's going to be a real great place to live here. By this time next year, it's come to a more natural, and I know it's naturally hot and dry. I know, like, just the climate, when it's in its natural state, it's still hotter and drier than, say, where I am or where Brad is. But I feel like it'll balance out and you won't have these fake manipulations pounding you.
Yeah, especially in the West Coast, we've had a lot of clouds. Like, we still have a lot of clouds coming in today as well too. And you can see, when you see the ripples along the clouds, guys, that's HAARP, right? So that's scalar energy. So a lot of the clouds that is actually counter forces that are doing that. Because what we're noticing here is a greater decline in wildfires this year, right? Last year and the years before that, we had tremendous amounts of wildfires. Now this year, we hardly have any. So that's great. So this is again counter forces kind of acting. It's kind of a bummer because we like the sun, the hot sunny weather, but they're also sending these clouds to make sure that no forests are getting inflamed.
This is the card I pulled for your area, Brad. So it's going to get a lot sunnier.
Yeah.
Naturally allowing you to have more sun. They've been manipulating it so you've got that dark winters. Right, so it's going to get a lot nicer. And already a fantastic place. I love where you are. It's fantastic, but it's going to get even nicer. So add sunshine, more sunshine to that.
Well, I'm actually just taking a secret trip starting tomorrow for a few days, so I'll be enjoying lots of sunshine.
Good.
So here's one from actually, there's a couple people on YouTube. I remember they're always talking about Norway, right? How are things with Norway? What's the situation with Norway? It feels like there's quite a bit of activity taking place in Norway. So maybe just checking to see how Norway is doing for people on YouTube.
So looks really bad on the surface. Looks like it's really run by the bad guys. And then this is what's really happening. So they're just patiently waiting to show you how much better things have got.
Yeah.
This is
exactly what I've got too. Yeah. Norway looks really bad on the surface, but there's a lot more greater stuff behind it.
And it's going to be shocking to people when they wake up to really what's going on and what's been going on and how much they're going to out their higher ups. That includes if they have royalty, that all their elites, like it's going to be shocking what's been going on there in the past.
Yeah, it's what I call setting up the dominoes. You're setting up the dominoes so the dominoes can fall. So they're basically just making things look red hot so that all these dominoes can be set up, and then you flick the finger and then the dominoes start falling. So guys in Norway, because I've gotten a lot of your requests, especially when I've done New Earth Insights quite a bit, Brad, what's happening with Norway? It looks like it's chaotic. Guys, don't believe everything you see, right? There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, and you're just imminent from watching that finger flick the dominoes. Norway is in good hands. You guys are going to be okay, right? Don't believe all the hype that you see on MSN. On to our next question. Why are there so many chemtrails still? Well, basically, like I said, we're seeing some transformations with the chemtrail. The chemtrail, you know, may actually not be the same chemtrail that we are familiar with in the past. Some of them may actually be of a different orientation. So we could probably look into that as well too, about chemtrails.
Okay, so like Brad said, some of those have been changed, but they keep them around because they're still playing out this movie that we're in this matrix that we've been in. Okay, but that's all about to change really fast. So they have to keep pumping out these things, but like Brad said, they're probably not using the same substance.
A lot of those old warehouses where they've been using aluminum and all that stuff have basically been apprehended. So there's a lot of different changes coming about, but yeah, we're still seeing it worldwide because it's part of an agenda that needs to be done.
And they want to be able to point back and say, remember all those chemtrails? What do you think we were doing to you?
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to tell you. So they can't just have everything disappear and then the good guys step out. They have to have something to go, this is what these guys were up to, and this is what they've been doing to you.
This is disclosure, guys. What you guys are seeing on MSM and everything else, this is disclosure. These things, these bad things have to happen so that you can look at it through the looking glass and say, yeah, I remember this stuff. Oh, this is what it actually is. Right? And you just explode with so much horror. But at the same time, you now know what it is. And now there's such a movement to completely dissolve that stuff altogether. Through tragedy comes unity. That's the formula that they use, guys. We have to remember that. Underline that 1,000,000 times. Through tragedy comes unity. That's all part of the disclosure effect that's taking place right now. Okay, let's look into Kat here. Does Mother Earth need to release, resulting in some Earth changes, leading to population migrations? From Kat, thank you very much.
Well, I'm not sure how to tackle that one. So the question is, can you put it in a?
I'll see if I can put it in a little bit more simple terms. I think what she was referring to was basically, let's go back to the question here and scroll down. Yeah, so basically what Kat's saying, does Mother Earth need to release, resulting in some earth changes? So basically in that sense, with a lot of the emotional stress that we've been going through on the planet, this is what obviously creates earthquakes. This is what creates a lot of natural disasters because of a lot of emotional intensity that is taking place upon the planet. So basically she's just asking if there's a release that it is kind of hard to put it together in a place that you can ask a tarot for it. Does Mother Earth need to release, resulting in some earth changes? So basically what I would say altogether, just out of that question, Kat, is yes, right? This is why we have sometimes natural earthquakes, but most of the things that we've been encountering on the planet have actually been artificial. So basically at times there will be natural stuff, but it will not be catastrophic. The earth doesn't want to take out her children. So again, basically you may get 4.0s, 5.0s, maybe 5.5s relating to earthquakes that are natural. When you get ones bigger than that, those have been caused by artificial quakes. So the earth has basically had to compensate for that at the same time.
Yeah. So I would agree with what Brad said. And then this card here says, so she has a unique way of, but like Brad said, take it down a few notches. This is a minor arcana. It wouldn't be anything catastrophic with that card. This card is a 5. 5s are, so it's disruptive for a short time and it causes delays and it's irritating, but nothing like the Tower card or so. She, Mother Earth is a lot more reasonable when she's not being manipulated.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
works with us.
Yeah, the last thing she wants to do is wipe us off the planet. We're her children.
Yeah.
So like I said, whenever you've seen like the big things, like there's big hurricanes, there's big earthquakes, there's big floods, guys, that's all man-made stuff. Okay, that's all artificial stuff. Good news, a lot of that's being taken away from the Dark Cabal because they were using it all the time to fuel their agendas. So like I said, Mother Earth really doesn't want to do that. There'll be little hiccups here and there, but no, she doesn't want to belch us off the planet in that way with something horrible. Let's go to Pamela's question here. Does chlorine dioxide help reverse the large clots of the ones who have taken the poke? Chlorine dioxide reversing the large clots of the ones who have taken the poke.
I'm not getting that to be a yes.
Okay.
I'm getting that if that's happened to somebody, so they ended up with the product that was the booby trapped one, how I talk about it, because I don't think they're all, some of them were saline, so there's booby trap batches that were left circulating. It was meant to be all like that, but I think intervention again from powers that be on the good side change things up to some degree is what I think. But so surrender to the biggest thing you're going to have to do to reverse that is time and practices over time is what that's saying. So I don't know exactly what I'm talking about there. I'd have to deep dive on that. That's a whole show, but it's going to take time. I don't think that's just a quick cure or anything.
Yeah, a lot of it is what I would suggest you guys do is get some ozone treatments. Okay, so find ozone treatment centers, and they're really, really good for clearing out a lot of debris. At the same time as well, you want to work with vitamin D, vitamin K2. Okay, that works really, really well also. So just doing these kind of natural detoxes, like I said, vitamin D, vitamin K2. I know David Wolf refers carbon 60 as well too, right? So working with a lot of Ayurvedic formulas will really, really help the body as well too. We want to clean out the liver, okay? There's a very, very complicated Ayurvedic medicine that I take to clean out the liver. I don't know if I can even pronounce it. It's a little hard to pronounce. I'll do my best. It's a Bringrajazava. I believe it's referred to that. It's kind of like a black fluid in a bottle that you get. It's very, very hard to spell. I'd have to check it out. But if you get into Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine at the same time, this is also very, very good for reversing, not just getting clots out, but just helping your body overall, cleaning out the nervous system as well too, right? So it's good to work with your liver. It's good to work with the major organs. It's good to work with the stomach as well too. One of the things you can also work with is betaine hydrochloride. Okay, that's just something that really helps with cleaning out the stomach and the glands, and also helping to purify the stomach acids within your body at the same time. Okay, medical medium also suggests celery juice. That too is a very good detoxifier. So there's quite a few things you guys can do, but I would also suggest talk to ozone therapy. You can even get ozone supplements online as well too. That really does a great job of cleaning it up altogether. Okay, let's go down here a little bit more. Some of these questions, guys, I think you're asking for me about inner Earth and 5D and stuff like that. Guys, I've already talked about this stuff. Okay, okay, here's one from anonymous attendee. When will doctors stand up and speak the truth as a collective? Many thanks. So I think we're getting to that brink right now. We're starting to see a lot of doctors and lawyers coming together, even worldwide.
Oh yeah, we're right at the end where the repression just lifts. There's like Brad said, there's already a lot of people coming forward, and with the shock of how many people are experiencing difficulties, there's that story going around about how many more under 5-year-olds leaving the earth plane. Now they're trying to cover it up. Like there's all kinds of things like that. So the secret's coming out, and it can't be held back anymore. And it's going to be a wave of people trying to jump on. If they hadn't already, because if you were a doctor and you didn't already know there was shenanigans going on, A, you're not a good one, or B, you're deep state. One of those two, you're one of those two.
So you're basically just ignorant, and then when you actually awake to the truth, you're going to be outraged.
Yeah, outraged. And so now the ones jumping on the bandwagon would have been the ones covering it up. So those guys are still, I'm putting them in the bad guy category. I don't care. They're just trying to save their neck, because the early ones that have been saying it all along, those ones are the ones with brains that you want to listen to. And they've been saying it all along, and there's been tons of them, by the way, but they've been repressing the voice of them. So we're about to find out what they've been trying to say all along, but they've been taken off all the platforms.
There's a truth to that, but also in that sense, we want to also give compassion wherever there's compassion to the idea of the person in that sense who did not know this stuff, because a lot of them are afraid. They're afraid that they're going to lose their livelihood. They're afraid they're going to lose their family. They're afraid they're going to lose everything that represents that. So I can understand that. So even though we do get a little pissy with some of the people that are not really standing up when they should be, I can understand their dilemmas. So compassion in that sense is there. And in that sense, they're going to find out the answer anyways. And then when they discover it, like I said, they'll be joining the ones that have already been standing up. So,
am I letting my Taurus skirt show?
Maybe, right? I used to be like that too. I used to have my all my inner releasing I'm doing, I'm clearing it out. So let's take a look at one here with Caroline. Caroline says there are many fires in many places in Europe right now. Forests, also buildings, Rome, London, and other cities. What is going on? What's happening? Is there an energetic cleanup taking place or something else? So a lot of areas in Europe. So we could basically look around Rome, London, maybe in between those areas, and what's happening. To me, it feels like the people are standing up and there's a lot of shifts taking place. So again, a lot of the fall of the old guard and a lot of the rise of the new.
Yeah,
So
the people on mass waking up and feeling really hurt. Like the hurt feeling when they did, it's not like they woke up from the rabbit holes like we did, slowly going down these rabbit holes and seeking for answers. The answers are hitting them in the face. So they're waking up en masse, and secrets are being revealed. So they're always ahead of us here in North America, it seems, right? So all of that stuff's going to come here, that wave of realization of what's been done and what they were trying to do to humanity and all of that. So it's starting to sink into these guys, and they're getting really angry about it, Yeah.
Like what we're seeing in Sri Lanka right now, right? They're completely disabling their government. So I was watching a video too. They had like this little battering ram, right? Trying to batter ram a lot of the guard that's there as well too. So yeah, Sri Lanka is on the verge of a huge revolution taking place. Yeah. Like I said, this whole year is about revolution, really. So Charlotte says, could you check on the situation with the Netherlands, with the farmers and the governments, the light workers, their specific task? Well, the specific task, Charlotte, is waking up. That's the whole idea. So just the situation with the Netherlands, the farmers, and I think maybe we talked about this earlier. I can't remember if we did. Did we already cover the farmers?
Yeah, we totally did.
That we did. We've covered so many topics. I'm trying to remember.
We got it was a big movie.
Yes.
And not to say that people the farmers themselves, some of them may not know they're part of a movie. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. So, but the origins of it were whispered in the ear of.
Yeah, it's the same as the Freedom Convoys. Yes, we did talk
exactly like the Freedom Convoy. So
it's just another variation of the Freedom Convoy for the Netherlands to get people to wake up and make that big surge. Okay, that's right. We did cover that. Okay, so here's another one from Claudia. Are the 5G towers still harmful? What's the situation with 5G towers? Have they been taken over by the counter forces? Are they still harmful?
Okay, I got for years now that they're not harmful. So that's just what I've got. And what it's saying here is, I feel like they want you to, it's a wake up call 5G. So the whole idea of and all the outing of it, do you think if actually you found out what they did, they'd even still be standing? Like if some people in the know knew, like there's no way, right? So they outed them after they dismantled them. So they're not in the hands of the bad guys, but they're okay with you thinking they're bad.
Yeah.
The good guys are, because they need them as part of the wake up.
Yeah. It's also like if we're going back to 2020 with China in regards to the electromagnetic weapons. Of course, that was all placed on 5G. A lot of those electromagnetic weapons can just be placed right beside those things where you think it's the actual 5G towers, but it is actually sophisticated military electromagnetic weaponry that they would use. And they would basically try to attack people with that. But basically what I've gotten to from the towers is firstly, the counter forces are in charge of that now. And a lot of them are actually going to be a lot more beneficial for humanity. It's not going to lead to a detriment. So we're actually seeing much more of a positive. So I was actually quite surprised in that, because I was hearing all that stuff about, oh, 5G, it must be a weaponized platform. I'd pull all these cards, and these cards would just give me like, cards like this. Hey, it's positive, it's great, it's wonderful, it's happy, it's all good. You don't need to worry about it. It's not a weaponized platform.
Totally.
And that's going to shock the heck out of people. Like, what? Come on, that's not what people are saying. It's Brad, it's weaponized. It's like, all right, guys, that's not what I'm getting. It's very positive. The counter forces have control of it, and it's going to be very, very beneficial for the times ahead. Right? So that's what we're getting, guys. What can I tell you? That's what the cards are telling you. So no, it's going to be very, very positive for the times ahead. So they're not some weaponized platform. This is why I said, guys, you got to be careful with what you read. You got to be careful of what you're filling your brains with, what you're putting your subconscious into, because you guys are putting way too much fear porn into yourself. A lot of that stuff's got to go. Here's one here from Victoria. What is the situation with the insurance companies, and will they still be active after the shift to systems?
Insurance companies are total deep state.
Yeah. Sure.
Fear-based. They base everything on fears. So I get they're going to come down here. Yeah, I get they're coming down. They're just holding on for now, but they're going to be, they're just hanging on for dear life here. But I feel like they're going to go down, because if you think about what's coming and the change in our consciousness that's already happened and happening, are we going to buy into that anymore? We'll realize that we are the creators of our destiny that way, and that we've signed up for certain karmic things. And we'll realize the bigger picture of how it works, and you won't need those kind of things.
Exactly. Let's take a look at electric cars. A lot of people talk about electric cars, and maybe they're harmful, right? Maybe they're creating a lot of problems just as much as the gas cars, maybe even more so in that sense. So maybe see what the tarot says in regards to electric cars and what they're putting out, and if they're very, very harmful for people to use.
I feel like they'll be very disappointing. There's a lot of things about them that you'll find out that'll be very disappointing. And a lot of what you think is true about them is falsified. So this card's rumors and innuendos, like that they actually save the environment and stuff like that. I don't think that's true. Okay, so, but they are going to come up with a much better version of something that we can wheel around in. And that's already somewhere in the background, and it'll be very comfortable and very positive to Mother Earth. But it isn't an electric car the way they're built right now. So I would wait. If you were thinking of buying one, I would just wait till the new stuff comes out. Yeah.
So here's what I'm getting about the electric cars. Booyah, right? So there's a lot of talk in regards to thinking that they're harmless, they're not going to hurt you. Right? We go around Vancouver, you see people with a Tesla everywhere, right? And so like I said, there's disappointments, right? There's many people who think that it's nice and fresh, it's nice and good. You're going to be disappointed, right? There's a lot of EMF and nasty electricity and emissions that are coming out of it. The good news, though, this is all going to counterbalance. This is all going to shift. And then again, I basically have talked about that they're probably going to be bringing about more hydrogen-based cars. So there's going to be cars that maybe on hydrogen-based, or again, other particular forms of technologies. This is going to be rolling out very soon, and it will actually be used for primarily electrical cars first, because they'll be the easier ones to convert to with this new technology. And gasoline cars will be second in line after that. So I'd say in the next couple of years, we're probably going to be seeing cars that are going to be moving a lot more better in regards to being a lot more cleaner for the environment altogether, because we could see things like hydrogen cars, or maybe ones that run on salt water or something of that nature. So a lot of those things are coming around, right? So that's good, because that's a very big common topic that people get, right? And of course, we talk about the 5G towers and electromagnetic fields. Well, of course, there's electromagnetic fields as soon as we're using electricity, guys. So yes, we want to be aware of that. And like I said, we may start to see some changes coming. This may be a few more years down the road, but we actually may start to get more into torsion energy rather than electromagnetic energy. So again, that's part of a transition that needs to go by. Torsion energy is what you get from pyramids, right? So basically, if you have a gigantic pyramid and you're actually bringing in torsion energy, this is not only harmless, but it's also expansive. So if they're actually working with like Tesla technology or torsion technology, I think that's going to probably be in the next few years where we'll see electromagnetic energy technology go on the shelf. So very good. So let's end with this last question here from Kat. Are food processing centers being burned to clean up our food supplies? Are they being taken down? Is there a dismantling happening with these food processing centers to clean up the food supply situation?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, but there's more to it than that. And some of what you're hearing is maybe exaggerated. So how many of them might be being exaggerated? Okay, and it's definitely being done by what I call the white hats. I know Brad has different words that he uses.
Counter forces.
Yeah, counter forces. It's being done by counter forces. And then we've got the 3 of cups in the middle. So next you're going to see them going after water suppliers. Interesting.
We need that, that's for sure.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be largely exaggerated, and it's part of what's going to out the mainstream media for their lies, going along with those kind of stories. And they'll probably even show you exactly how they falsify the stories.
Yes, exactly. We're also going to see a lot of fluoride being cleaned out of the water as well, too. So wherever there's been fluoride contamination, they are currently building technology to get the fluoride out of the water altogether. So that's going to be happening in the next few months at the same time. So Janine, it was really great to have you on again for a third time. I'm just going to go ahead and promote your website one more time. So again, like I said, there's an online course with Janine on tarotbyjanine.com, exclusive access to the tarot community. And of course, you can go ahead and sign up for a membership. It's $4.99 US. Again, the website is tarotbyjanine.com. So feel free, again, if you're on the YouTube channel right now, leave a donation for Janine. It's great that she's here. And we're just putting, again, this nice, beautiful interview together with her today. And again, thanking her for all the work that she's been doing on YouTube. And now, again, it's going to continue in your membership site. Anything you want to share to people about your membership site, or anything new coming up for you?
Well, I'm just really excited because everything happened for a reason, as it always does. The universe, even if, I don't know, black hats, white hats, counter forces, whoever, but I got off of there for a good reason for myself. It solved a lot of things for me, but of course, at the time that it happened, it was shocking because it was within a week, both platforms. So that's a bit shocking. And between the two of them, there's a lot of subscribers. One had over 100,000 and the other one had 156,000 or something. So that was shocking, but quickly, wonderful friends, truther friends like yourself, Brad, and offered help and assistance. So I'm just so grateful. And all the people that gave me PayPal donations and used my link, I am so grateful and thankful for that. And I feel blessed and better things to come. It's all going to work out great.
Spirit's going to take care of you no matter what happens. Spirit
Yeah.
always has your back. Right?
Yeah.
So there you go. And you were even telling about the situations that you were having, signs that were coming in during that time, right? With a coyote, I think you were talking.
Yeah, coyote attacking the black cat, which would be my intuition, but the coyote's a trickster, and I intervened so that my intuition was defending itself, my black cat. The coyote ran away as soon as I went out, and I knew it was a sign. Something's coming that's going to attack my intuitive voice, but it'll just be a trick. It'll actually turn out, and you'll laugh in the end. When the trickster comes, there's going to be something funny about it eventually, and it turns out to your advantage, but it always hurts and stings at the beginning, like the coyote fools you a little bit. Yes. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're still in there. You're still doing your work, still doing exactly what you're here to do. So again, Janine, thank you very much for being part of the third interview here on YouTube channel on New Earth Teachings. And thank you everybody again for all of your questions. Thank you guys on YouTube for tuning in. And Janine, thank you very much. Namaskar. Thank you for being here. We'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Thank you guys. We'll go ahead and we'll wrap up the broadcast now. Much love to you.